So all around me, besides beautiful views, is the Nordberg Fort. And what makes this interesting, well, there's a lot of preserved barracks and things like that, a lot of buildings, and I'll show you that stuff. But the most interesting thing about this fort are these tunnels. The actual passageways are still there, and you can go down inside. It's really interesting. First of all, that's the view. Typical beautiful view in Norway. And then you can come down here. And this was a way for them, the Germans, to get to these different guns. There was a bunch of guns down in here. So according to what I've read online, there were 3 15-centimeter SKL-45 guns here. They had a range of 16,000 meters. And there were 2 4-centimeter anti-aircraft guns as well. Those German 15-centimeter naval guns were very common. They were used in World War I as well. They were produced from 1908 until the end of World War II, 1945 or so. This fort was built, or completed at least, in 1942. It had 2 main purposes. One was to defend the sea and the Lista Peninsula from the Allied ships, and also here to protect the Lista airport to the south. Whoa, that's cool. That obviously goes upstairs, I'm guessing, or up outside. How long is this? The Norwegian army took control of this after the war, and it was used for military exercises. The original 15-centimeter guns were destroyed, which seems to be it was common practice back then. But they were destroyed in the 1950s. Oh, here's another gun emplacement. And they have a picnic table in here too. Now these stairs are all broken up. 80-year-old steps. Wow, this is crazy. Locked. And it's in Norwegian, so I don't know. Look at this stone here in this picture. The plaque here says the stone stood at the entrance at Camp Orr. The camp was the first POW camp established in this area, and I guess this is the rock here. They had it moved. Oh yeah, you can still see some of the insignia, or some of it was carved. I don't know, it's kind of hard to see it, but it, wow. Just the very bottom of it. Yeah, you can kind of see the curve in the picture. See the very bottom. That's still there. Man, that is intense.
like leaves.
Yeah. A lot of this stuff here is bricked up, and of course anything wood is just long gone. But there's definitely, you know, stuff up there. I don't know how to, there look like a trail going over here. Yeah, so look at this. Now this stuff is probably going to be locked up because of the fact that the museum is not open today. I always think it's strange when museums are not open on Saturdays. You see what that says? So they added a lot to the mountain here. You know, masonry rocks. They extended them to hide their bunkers and everything, but also so it blended in. It made it look like it was, you know, part of the landscape. It would be much harder then to spot from the air. I can kind of see in here a little bit. These would have, you know, these were flaps. They would have come up in the event that they needed them to come up. Oh yeah, okay. So this would have been for viewing. And they would have calculated the distance of whatever they wanted to be firing at. Command would have come from in there. They would have seen the distance, calculated it, and then it would have been fired out of here, or the other ones. So there were two other ones over there, and they had smaller arms fire over there. So this was all basically taken apart or decommissioned in 1959. And none of these were ever used by the German army. In fact, I don't even think that the cannons or the guns were even used at all. They weren't even set up. They weren't online, call it. So then when the Norwegian army came in and took over the spot, they actually did test fire one of the guns. And all the residents that lived around here were told to open up your windows and your doors and maybe not even be in the area because this thing could blow out your windows and be very loud. I don't know what came of it, but that's what the plaque says. Construction of this camp continued throughout the war. Barracks, roads, a hospital, mess hall, sports field. Up to 120 soldiers were stationed here at any given time. Most of these buildings are barracks that are left. There's a whole bunch of buildings here, and again, because of the museum is closed, I can't really get inside any of them or see any of them, but from what I've seen in pictures, they're very interesting inside. Here's an interesting fact. This is an old turret from the older tanks in the beginning of World War II. They were used a lot, and then as technology changed throughout the war, they weren't using them anymore. So a lot of these turrets ended up just randomly in places along the beaches and things like that. So this is just on display here, but it's cool to see. That green building, that's the mess hall. And above it are foundations for other small buildings, barracks. The red building is also barracks, and behind that is the bathhouse. So there's probably a lot more to see here, but unfortunately I just have bad timing. But mostly I wanted to come and show you the trenches and where the gun emplacements were. So I wanted to stop at the airport in Lista. I believe it's pronounced Farsund or Farsund Airport. built by the Germans, and it was used up until I think recently. I think it's closed now, but they built all these hangars and buildings. A lot of them have been restored. These were back in the background. You could see barracks that have been restored. But the real reason I wanted to bring you here is to show you this, which is definitely not something you see every day. Look at this radar. That is amazing. There's a museum here, but of course it's closed. But I at least wanted to show you this. Yeah, it's locked up because it's, like I said, it's a museum that is closed right now. Or maybe it's just locked up all the time, but look at this thing. Oh, I guess you can go in here normally, but so this is the Lista airport. It was built by the Luftwaffe beginning in 1940. The airbase opened actually in 41, and these three hangars are originals. There was a 1,700 meter wooden runway, but later on a 1,600 meter concrete runway was laid down. It was the Nordberg Fort as well as the Barracks Fort to the south that I actually did a video on. That was the one that had the bunkers that were recently kind of unearthed. Those two forts protected the Lista Air Base. The Norwegian Air Force took control of this in 1945. It ceased being any sort of an airport for aircraft in 1996, and it was sold. It seems as though it was parceled off, so it's kind of privately owned. The barracks buildings, the mess hall, things like that. Some of them are private residence now. And but yeah, I believe 1996 was the last time a plane had actually landed here. And I think one of them is a skate park, and of course one is a museum, which is also closed today. But I wanted to get the drone up in the air and show you some history from a bird's eye view. So that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. I'm getting back on the road. More interesting videos coming soon. See you in the next video.